First and foremost, let me start off by stating that the United States of America is the best country in the world, and that's why a lot of people are here. That's why you are here. There's something else I need to really start off with, because saying something that probably make a couple of people nervous, because truth usually does. This conversation isn't about because Black Americans are suddenly, xenophobic or anti-immigrant. It's happening because we are tired. Not annoyed, not triggered, not online mad, tired in our own bones, tired of being the one group in America expected to absorb disrespect and racism and bigotry behavior from everybody while receiving grace from nobody. We're the foundation of this country. America wouldn't be as rich or powerful as it is today without foundational Black Americans. That is the truth. We've had a jump start on every other countries because of our ancestors and the free labor that they've done for this country. And before anybody starts clutching pearls, let me be crystal clear about something up front. This is not about hating immigrants. This is not about accents. This is not about where someone comes from. This is about patterns of behavior, power, and accountability. Because what nobody wants to say out loud, but everybody knows, is that many people who come to the United States arrive with pre-installed racial hierarchies. Yeah, they probably got that from colonialism, color caste system within their country. They didn't invent those hierarchies, I understand that, but they practice them as soon as they're around the American doorstep. And guess who they get practice on first? Foundational Black Americans. People who come to the United States of America from Asia, Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, South America, the Middle East, Europe, all over the world. They bring their culture, their food, their language, their so-called hustle. But many also bring anti-Black bias that exists long before they ever touch U.S. soil. Colorism, caste system, ethnic hierarchies, colonial conditioning, good hair versus bad hair, even to the point where some foundational Black Americans like, oh, they got bad hair because our hair was so coarse, as they would state. Civilized versus uncivilized, respectable versus ghetto. And somehow, magically, Black Americans end up at the bottom of it all. Again, the same Black American whose ancestors built the infrastructure, fought for civil rights, that really benefit a lot of illegal and legal immigrants, bled for labor protections. It seems like all these other immigrant groups received them over us, opened up universities, forced voting rights to exist, the same laws that allow millions of immigrants to even enter, work, study, and naturalize in this country. We're paid for with the Black blood and Black protests of our ancestors and some of our riders today. And yet we are routinely talked to like we're lucky to be here. I've even heard that sentiment. You guys are lucky to be here. We've always been here. So let me give you guys some reference where I'm coming from, because I think we need to dial back a little bit for you guys who may not be familiar with certain cases. I just want to let you hear a little bit of this.
22 years down the drain.
Many Koreans who yesterday were the shopkeepers of South Central Los Angeles today have lost the businesses they took years to create.
What can I say? I don't have any word to say. That's really a comeback, John.
George Huang woke this morning to find his mini mall burnt to the ground, a loss of $1.5 million and a lifetime of dreams and effort.
I don't mind that. Whatever they need, take it out. But why they burn out the property? That's my question.
41 Korean businesses in South Central.
And by the way, his question is about to be answered very, very quickly. Now, this was back in 1991, and this gentleman here is about to explain why Korean businesses were targeted.
That's the problem.
I'm not surprised that the Koreans got targeted because their prices are high, their attitude is wrong, and they just don't seem to have any respect for the Black community.
You know how it all started? The first thing when a girl got killed from the Oriental.
March 16th.
All right. So again, that's just one of the premises, ladies and gentlemen, but we're going to come through this very, very quickly. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this story. Korean-American Black conflict during LA riots were overemphasized by media experts say. It wasn't a full story because for quite some time, and for somebody who doesn't just have a sample size of information, I lived in Korea for 4 years. I've been all over the peninsula. We either be Dongashan, Tongashan, Busan, you name it, I've been there. I've been all over Korea. Now, there's some Koreans that show no discriminatory behavior towards me. I can go into their shops, going into their townships, and have what I perceive as no racism and no discriminatory behavior. But I've experienced that in Korea. Have I ever experienced that in Japan? I lived in Japan for a year. Matter of fact, my family and I just went to Japan last year. I didn't experience any racism. I'm not stating that the two are the same or the two are similar or the two are different. I'm just stating that I did not receive any racism in Japan. Now, I don't know about anybody else's account, but I have in Korea because I lived there for a very long time, unfortunately. Okay? Because I love the United States of America. This is my ancestry. This is my lineage. But when it comes to all these different immigrant groups, not just the Asian ones, not just the Middle Eastern ones, not just the Black ones, all of these groups, all of them have been disrespectful, denigrating, and very, very racist to our foundational Black Americans. Not all of them, but enough. Enough that a lot of these things are making headways. Now that President Trump, whether you like him or love him, which you hate him or forget him, it doesn't matter. He's all of our president. You don't have to accept him. It's kind of like a child that did some very insane criminal things that you don't really want to take ownership of. He's still your child. But let me also inform you guys with this.
First on two, a woman is now charged with a hate crime in connection with an attack on the owner of a beauty supply store. Keandra Young is one of two customers accused of assaulting Jung Kim on St. Patrick's Day. KPRC2's Andy Sirota just spoke with the store's owner's son about this new development in the case.
The owner's son says he and his family have received a lot of support from customers and the community since the attack on his mother. The woman accused of breaking her nose and leaving her bloodied and bruised, now facing a hate crime enhancement on the existing assault charge against her. Now, about a month after the investigation was launched into the attack on his mother, beauty supply store owner Jung Kim, a grand jury determined the beating was motivated by racial bias and indicted one of the women, 24-year-old Keandra Young, for a hate crime. Sung-Jun Lee, the owner's son, had this to say about the new development.
I just want the justice. Get a punishment, what they did. Like, not over, not less, just like exact amount what they did. That's just what I believe in. That's what I want.
Surveillance video from March 17th shows beauty supply store in the parking lot.
If somebody's jumping in front of your car with a weapon and you're trying to bag up, I have somebody in the front of me and the back of me. I have no choice but to go forward.
Lee, who denies all the women's claims, says his mom is doing better and they just want to put this all behind them.
I don't really
See, there's a certain stereotype about Black Americans that we're just violent by nature, naughty by nature, so to speak. And we understand that's absolutely untrue. Okay, if you're not really gang affiliated and you're going on someone else's turf, there's really no Black American going out of their way to harm people from other countries, let alone our own people. Yeah, we can conduct violence amongst each other, little spats here and there, because we live once another. Whether it be white on white crime, black on black crime, brown on brown crime, Asian on Asian crime, whatever it may be. You are mostly involved with people who live in close proximity to you. See, Black Americans have been spoken to with open contempt in businesses. We've been overcharged, and it's proof. The data shows for itself. Given spoiled or inferior goods, denied service, even in our own country, talked down to, threatened, marked for speech and culture, blamed for crimes we didn't commit, called police on, accused falsely for the most egregious things, walking through the park while Black, dragged into conflicts that escalate very quickly. And here's the part people refuse really to confront. When these conflicts happen, Black Americans are expected to de-escalate even when we are the ones being disrespected. Because even myself, I may look at a clip, I'm like, why is she so angry? We don't know what that sister been through. Why is he so angry? We don't know what that brother been through. We don't know how many occurrences, how many incidents, how many events that he's been through involving some of the same hatred, bigotry, and discrimination. We don't know. Because maybe we didn't go through the same amount. Maybe ours was subtle. Maybe ours were passive. Maybe because we're always told, be the bigger person. Remember Michelle Obama? When they go low, we go high. I said, nah. I told my wife, I said, no, babe. When they go low, we go lower. Just don't go to hell. Be the bigger person, my ass. Don't make it about race. Have compassion. These are some of the things they tell us. They're new here. They're struggling. Funny how compassion is always a one-way street when it comes to us, is it not? It's always a one-way street when it comes to us.
All right, excuse me, black people, black women and men, I just want to tell y'all, y'all are brilliant, you're magical, you are worth it, and your black dollar counts. It counts so much that it affords them to send their kids to college, to live in 4 and 5 bedroom homes, and to drive their fancy cars into the same neighborhoods that they don't funnel money back into. What y'all did when I got in here was very disrespectful, highly unprofessional, and I've been giving you my money for a while, but here's what you do know. You'll never get my black dollar again. And everybody in here, I hope y'all understand. Please take your money somewhere where you're valued. I love each of you, and I didn't mean to disturb your peace, but I won't let it go unchecked again, because that's why y'all continue to do it. Conjugating, laughing together, and doing all that talking in your language like we don't understand. We don't understand what you're saying, but we understand the sentiment. Won't happen again, not on my dollar. Love y'all. Have a good one. Come my money, baby. The last one you'll ever get. Do it now.
Boy, I sure do love when a sister speak powerfully. I love when our people speak powerful in a lot of these regards, because we have been highly disrespected upon. Now, this lady right here, I don't want to talk about the way she looks. She just looks like a character, in my opinion, but she has some really good things to say that I think I want to bring to the forefront here. Just a couple of things.
Right? So I'm confused about that. And I just want to know, can a black girl get a fucking break? Can the black girls please catch a break on some shit in life? Can they? With that said, I want to address some of the girls on here talking about Korean stores. And first of all, there are some Korean stores where they love y'all. They love black culture. I
want to make this crystal clear for a lot of people. This is not an attack on any one particular immigrant group, okay? I know right now we're showcasing Koreans, but again, I'm giving an example of Asians. I'm not pinpointing Koreans. This is the most, material that's out there on the social media streets. But again, a lot of these nail shops have a lot of Vietnamese women in there as well, people from Laos, people from all these other Asian countries. So again, I'm not pinpointing any particular community, but I am giving examples of the different ethnic immigrants that are in America, okay?
love black folks. So find those and support them. And better yet, let's support other black women opening black girl product stuff and support them. How about that? Like, hit the asshole discriminatory bigots where it hurts, which is their wallet.
Now, this Asian lady or whatever she is can state that, and then when our sister was talking about, that'd be the last time you get one of my black dollars. We have to stop thinking that we are incapable. We can actually be unified when it comes to group economics. You may not like some of the people you may have to do business with. As long as I'm black and white, we can do this thing. Because again, one of the biggest industry are black beauty products. Guess who's fueling that industry? Black women. Now, granted, there's other demographics of people who actually buy some of the black products because of the quality, because of what it does for the hair, etc. But again, we're the largest group of people who are supporting this industry. And then some people say, well, you get boxed out. We have to start creating our own, ladies and gentlemen. We absolutely have to. Because we have been denigrated, disrespected on almost every account. And guess what? It has been done in a very violent nature. Not just the police being called on us. Because what we need to do is deal with the part people really don't like. If someone is in this country illegally, they are already operating outside the law. That's not an insult. That's not hate. That's a fact. And facts don't disappear just because they're uncomfortable. So here's a question. Should we use ICE as a weapon or a tool if disrespected or discriminated against? And if we do so, is it justified if they're illegal? I'm just asking a question, okay? I'm not eluding, okay, to anyone. I'm not trying to stretch here. I'm just asking a question. That's all I'm doing.
You got me fucked up, bro. You can't come in here and pay me, and then you can talk to us all kind of way you want to, bro. The fuck?
I can talk to you however the hell.
No, you cannot.
Go back to your damn country if you want to act like that.
Back to You just told me to go back to my country?
Yes, I did say that.
Bitch, I saw your fucking EBT card in there. Guess who?
So what?
Guess who paid for that motherfucking
So
shit?
what?
I did.
Oh well.
Bitch, you know how?
How you want me to feed my kids? I'm fat.
Oh my fucking God, bro, you got me fucked up, bro. You can't come in here and pay me.
Now and again, family, we're gonna be serious, but we're gonna have a little bit of fun. I think that was satire. Okay, I think that was funny because she said, "How you gonna help me feed my kids? I'm fat." I think that was just a joke. We're gonna break it up. We're gonna go back and forth here today, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna really have a good time. Now, this fool right here, Don Lemon. I don't know who he represents other than himself. Don Lemon is I don't know what Don Lemon is. I just think he's idiotic. I think he's to the point where he's bought into this democratic nonsense, okay, that he doesn't even believe, and this clip has been going viral, by the way. He doesn't even believe that people who come into America illegally, that is not a crime. I want you guys to listen in on this. This is not AI. This is not satire. This is Don Lemon at his best.
Illegally, because that's how you manage a country. And it's not about hating people. Myself as an immigrant, it's just about doing things the right way. As a lot of them have signs that said, no human is illegal. But
removing violent, illegal criminals, although Democrats, including Don Lemon, believe that crossing the border illegally isn't actually breaking the law. Listen to this.
Mexico right now is doing mass deportations on all the people that stayed illegally, because that's how you manage a country. And it's not about hating people. Myself as an immigrant, it's just about doing things the right way. As a lot of them have signs that said, no human is illegal. But once you enter the wrong way, doing it the proper way, you're breaking the law.
It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
Those laws are being broken.
Lemon believes that if you cross into America, that is not a criminal act. That is not a crime. Now, he tried to clean it up at the end. So I had to define a misdemeanor, right? A misdemeanor, let me blow it up for you guys, is a less serious criminal offense than a felony, typically punishable by fines, community service, probation, or up to 1 year in local jail rather than state prison. But this is the person that was on one of the largest news network in the world by the way of CNN. See, that's my thing. If you guys are just looking at MSNBC, if you guys are just looking at Fox News, if you guys are looking at just CNN, I tell you guys, look at all the news and see the discrepancies and do a compare and contrast. See where the pinpoints and data points meet up together so you can eventually get to the truth. Because a lot of this mass media are propaganda machines, in my opinion. He's out here talking to people and telling them that it's not illegal, that it's not illegal to come inside of a country by the way of a border instead of going through, the regular border gate, whatever they call it. But you guys know what I'm getting at. Because if you are here illegally, everything you do exists on borrowed time and borrowed permission. That means you don't get to mistreat people. You don't get to threaten citizens. You don't get to act untouchable, especially not toward the very people who ancestors forced this country to recognize human rights in the first place. I'm moving on. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the biggest case. Latinos allegedly abusing black employees. They end up settling out of court. I'm going to tell you that. They settled out of court. And when they went to go interview the black employees, they said that Latino workers were calling them monkeys and waving bananas at them, and everybody in the warehouse will laugh at them. And I know y'all gonna say, oh, it's not all of them, where it was a warehouse full of them and 3 different companies. That's why this is considered one of the biggest lawsuits, biggest cases in California, right? And look, check this out. Even the attorney said that these cases are becoming more intense and more ugly. You could pause it and read it, right? Nooses, racial slurs. Now, if this was white people doing this to black people, this would be all over the news, right?
Now, just because it haven't happened to you does not mean it's not happening to our people. And I say enough. It's exhausting, is it not? They say, oh, I got black fatigue. I got white fatigue. I got racism fatigue. I got illegal immigrant fatigue. I got people who wasn't part of the foundation of this country, whether it be the enslavers or the so-called pilgrims or the Native Americans or the Siberians that came over here originally, who have been with Black Americans through all the different things that our people have went through. If it's not one of those groups, I have fatigue. I'm exhausted. Because granted, we already get racism for a certain portion of the white demographic. We already get racism from all these other different efforts, but let alone people who've only been in the country 60 years. Who've only been in the country since Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. helped pass the Civil Rights Act, along with other people who was beating feet, protesting, and marching behind him and beside him. Whether it was for Lyndon B. Johnson, who was a racist, who did it for the Democratic own personal gain of garnering the black vote, which you believe it or not, because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I continue to tell you people, and people are now saying it more loudly and more proudly, that we should have never picked a side. Because originally, foundational Black Americans were mostly Republican. I know. For a lot of people who wasn't aware of that, we were mostly Republican. Am I telling you to lean right? No, I'm not telling you to lean right. Am I telling you to be a Republican? Absolutely not. Am I telling you to stay left or be a Democrat? Absolutely not. I'm just saying have a free mind and do what's in the best interest of yourself, your family, your community, and your countrymen. That is what I'm saying. I think about policies. If it ain't in black and white, all these other things don't really matter. And here's the thing. I've been getting flack about my video, FBAs for Trump. I get it. Because I was giving clarification on why some foundational Black Americans voted for President Trump. Did I vote for him? Absolutely not. But they say, oh, you was giving excuses and you was doing word salad and you were babbling about da-da-da-da-da. No, I was not. See, that's the thing about clarification. I may not like your choice, but that doesn't mean I can't understand it. People are going to do what's in their best interest for survival. That is what they're going to do. I wasn't in those Chicagoan shoes. That's not who I was. Negroes for Trump, N-words for Trump. Whatever the premise of them voting for President Trump, I never spoke about. I spoke about those Chicagoans that the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, was allowing illegal immigrants inside of the community centers, inside of their churches, giving them apartments, this, that, and the other, while the black demographic there in Chicago were homeless. And their resources were being extrapolated and being taken away and being decreased. I don't think people really think about it that way, about their own self-survival. And those same people, those same, Chicago turn red people, all these different groups that they have, that a certain demographic of black people in Chicago voted for President Trump, while they still are standing 10 toes down on their vote, it's because of the same thing I'm talking about today. They have witnessed it firsthand. And the people who really stand up for illegal immigration, people who have sexual access to a lot of these different ethnic groups. Maybe they have an Asian girlfriend or boyfriend, Hispanic girlfriend or boyfriend, and they possibly may be illegal, or their parents are illegal, so on and so forth. And that's why they speak up for it. But we have been really experienced a great level of not only violence, but passive racism and discriminatory bigotry behavior from a lot of these groups. And then instead of speaking about these points and really, how do we go about, finding solutions? You know what they tell us? Black on black crime, where you're doing it to yourself, where you guys are hurting yourself more than any other group. That's fine. Just like any other group hurt themselves more than any other group, but we don't need other people doing that for us. More times than not that a black person is committing assault on a person that's not of their own race, I want to know what occurred. See, a lot of times, I know you guys been seeing them clips, whether it be in a Chinese, Vietnamese, or Korean nail shop, beauty shop, and we see them lock the doors on our sister, and then they start to commit violent assaults against our sister because there's no man there, right? Because usually your girlfriend, your wife, your partner, your significant other goes and get their hair and nails done. You don't go with them, but man, we're gonna be in there all day. We're gonna be here 4 hours. I ain't staying here. I'm going down to the cigar shop. I'm gonna get me a drink, or I'm gonna go play my video game until she calls me. You're gonna be doing something else. I'm gonna read a good book, etc., whatever it may be. But this is what I'm referring to, ladies and gentlemen.
Who was jumped by 3 presumably Hispanic people in New York City. Oh, I got a couple of things. Okay, so one, gay boys. Just because you film don't mean that you're less of a man. Keep your goddamn hands off of women. You understand what I'm saying? Secondly, I seen nothing but men in the camera shot. I seen the 2 men that was attacking her, plus that lady, right? Then I seen a man on the king. I don't understand why the fuck he was there. Maybe he was just assisting. You know what I'm saying? Then I don't know who behind the camera. If you was a man, you could have did more than just film. You don't understand what I'm saying? And then they pan the camera over just a little bit, and I seen a man of unknown ethnicity, and then I seen a black man. You know what I'm saying? Or he could be Dominican, but you know what I'm saying? But he looked like a black man, and he did absolutely shit. Y'all all are men. Y'all could have broke up that motherfucking fight. Y'all did absolutely nothing. So motherfucking embarrassing. And they have.
I get his point, and that doesn't mean you have to be Superman, Batman. You don't have to come, to the rescue, but you can at least break it up when you see one of our sisters being assaulted, even one of our brothers being assaulted. You don't have to jump in and help beat up nobody. You don't have to be like the riverboat crossing, unless and that was a special case, right? You should jump in and do something. But if you see someone being assaulted one-on-one, maybe you just want to break it up and see what the hell's going on, or for one of our people not to be harmed. Because let me tell you something, and this is just my opinion, and it is biased. Okay, I'm going to be very biased. More times than not, when I see an altercation between a Black American and someone who's non-Black American, more times than not, this person has been either accused or wronged in some type of way, and they're responding very emotionally, very loud, and sometimes in violence. I don't see our people going out provoking people. The only time I witness that, because I'm from DC, only time I see that, if I went in certain parts of DC, I'm part of this group over here. I used to hang out around here, and I walk in a set that's not my own. They're like, hey, man, who you here for? You might get that. You might get checked because they never saw you. They don't know you're the police. They don't know you're trying to rob. They don't know, okay? This is just the reality that some of us live in. But when it comes outside of that, I just wanted you to take heed of what he was saying. Now, this particular attack here was done by some Arabs.
They're protesting here outside the Medela Market. This is the corner of Broadway and Jefferson. It all started because people are saying that a woman was assaulted inside the store.
They had beat on my sister with pipes and sticks for no apparent reasons. And I don't like it.
And this isn't the first time that there's been an incident here. So when community members got word about it, they showed up. They're calling for change, they're calling for accountability here, and they want this store shut down. And that's what happened. So while people were here protesting, police showed up and put this on the door.
We don't have all the facts, but if you're creating an unsafe environment for my community, that's not okay.
And then you know who else showed up? The owner of the store.
And it came and this is my store. It's some lady that came and she's stealing something or something happened in the store, and my employee hand as like one stick.
You think they should have handled it differently last night?
Of course, they can.
People are outraged. They're protesting here.
And this is the thing, fam. When things like this occurs, especially not toward the very people whose ancestors forced this country to recognize human rights in the first place, when someone says, is calling ICE justified? The honest answer, in my opinion, it depends on the situation. Now, if they are illegally in the country, is it justified that you call ICE? And the other question is, if it is it not, or is it automatically wrong? Calling ICE isn't violence. Calling ICE isn't assault unless ICE assaults someone. Calling ICE isn't vigilant justice. It isn't invoking a system that already exists. And here's the uncomfortable truth that I know a lot of people may not agree my stance on this. Every other group in America understands leverage except Black Americans. We don't want to snitch on nobody. We don't want to tattletale on nobody because that's inherently part of our culture. We don't want to call a po-pos to the situation. We know that when you call a po-pos, the situation somehow has become worse than what it is. Because when you call the police, when you call Bodine, as we say in DC back in the day, when you call the flat-footers, they always seem to make that situation worse than what it is. Especially they want you to stay around. Like, you just want to make the report and go home. Well, can you stay around and give a report to the officers? Hell no, I'm not staying around here. Because how many times you've heard of our people calling the police and then end up being locked up, thinking that you're the perpetrator and you're the victim, no less. And here's the thing about leverage. Okay, again, I don't think everybody's going to agree with me. If you're new to BlackLogic, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, because here's a place where we're going to have intelligent discussions, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't want you to subscribe because you like what I'm saying. I want you to subscribe because this is a place where we're going to bring logic to things, whether you like it or not. We're not going to always disagree and we're not going to always agree, but we're going to get to the common denominator of things. Because when it comes to leverage, corporations use leverage, banks use leverage, politicians use leverage, foreign governments use leverage, immigrants themselves use leverage, amongst other things: sympathy, identity, coalition politics, more pressure, numbers. But when Black Americans recognize leverage exists, suddenly it's too harsh, you're going too far. It's immoral? No. What's immoral is demanding that Black Americans protect everyone else's interests while our own are constantly ignored. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let me let you guys listen in on this.
In the bed chilling, and you done made me sit up. Y'all, I can only snip a little bit of the beginning of her video. What she said was, what she has noticed is that when she's in the gym, Hispanic women are very aggressive towards Black women. And I had to sit up when she said that, because for the longest time, I thought it was just me. I thought I was being delusional. I thought it was all in my head. When I go to the gym, I be locked in. I always joke and say, if somebody was trying to catch me sleeping, the gym is the place to do it, because that's probably one of the only places where I don't have situational awareness. I be so locked into what I'm doing that I don't notice who comes, who goes. Somebody could steal something from me and I wouldn't be able to tell you who it was, because when I tell y'all I go in that gym and I lose myself in the gym, I've been in the gym since 2016. The Hispanic women at the gym, I don't know what the problem is. At my home gym, there are 2 Hispanic women who are very problematic when it comes to Black women.
Now, of course, a lot of these clips are people's personal account and not to be intended that all Asians or Hispanic people or anybody else we talk about, okay, is speaking for their entire demographic here in America. That's absolutely not what I'm getting at, okay? That's absolutely what I'm not getting at. Because with some of these next clips, I'm going to reveal some things that I never revealed about myself when it comes to this. But before it says, I need to really bring it to light. Should I? Now, because of copyright reasons, I can't play the whole clip, but it's fire. Now, I don't know if you guys ever went through what I went through. I grew up in Washington, D.C. I'm a Washingtonian, born and raised. And I love Jamaican music. I'm not going to lie to you. I love foundational Black American music, okay? I remember my uncle back in the day playing George Clinton, okay? And any guys remember that Atomic Dog? Like, we used to have all these funk music. I used to love funk music because of my Uncle Frank. Okay, and then of course some other old school music. My Uncle Dennis, my Uncle John, they used to listen to all this old school music. But when I started going to college and I started, talking to other demographics of people from all these different countries, I really started like Jamaican music. And I don't know if anybody else. I'm gonna be real with you guys, okay? Gotta make sure ain't no haters around. I used to try to learn Jamaican dances, right? Go to the dance hall and do all the I try to do all those certain things and even try to speak patois. I didn't know the hell I was talking about. The only thing I probably got around to is everything's Irie, man. Everything's Irie. Don't be a bhakti boy. That's probably now did horrible at it, okay? But for a time, you engulf yourself in the culture. You're eating jerk chicken. You eating all types of stuff, right? Because you're around those people. You enjoy their culture for what it is, okay? But that doesn't mean
somebody. This Jamaican lady, she has this restaurant. I can't tell you what town it's in, but very nasty attitude. I went in to buy a dinner about 3 weeks ago, and she gave me some burnt up rice. Now, I paid about $27 for this dinner, and I had 2 side orders. She gave me some burned up rice and some nasty piece of chicken. The chicken tastes rotten. Now, when I got to my car and opened up the meal, the container was stinking. Okay, that's how rotten the food was. So I went inside and politely asked her for another plate because the food was not adequate. And
a lot of people have been coming out against this sister saying some very, very disparaging things about her. To me, this is not black on black crime. This is not diaspora infighting. This is not self-hate. This is citizen versus non-citizen accountability. Again, you guys may stretch it to be something totally different than I. Those are not the same categories. Race does not erase legal status, nor does it erase receiving a bad plate of food, okay? And we know how black people about their food. We work hard for our money, regardless of what these other haters say that we don't. But we work hard for our money. And so when you don't get a good plate of food, you're like, wait a minute, rice is burnt, the chicken is funky. Seem like, what's going on here? So I was reading the comments over here, right? And there was many comments on other clips that I viewed prior to this. This person says, she says, ma'am, let's not use ICE against each other as a weapon. I understand your argument. I swear I do. She shouldn't have given you much better service, but sis, calling ICE was not the answer. They already hate us, and now they got us turning on each other. Is that true? Family, is that true? Does ICE have Black Americans turning on other Black immigrants, or does ICE have Black Americans turn on Black Americans? Again, she wasn't Black American. But what does she mean by turning on one another when we are receiving disrespect and discriminatory behavior toward these other groups, simply based upon their skin color? Because last time I checked, and I'm not speaking to all Jamaicans, I'm speaking to those tether Jamaicans, those tether Asians, those tether Hispanics who tell foundational Black Americans, we don't have no culture. Yes, we do. You're living in it. Again, I don't need to go down every single thing because you guys have been watching my videos. You know all the culture I've explained and displayed and shown here as data, receipt, and invoices. So again, what does she mean? Because they tell us that we are different people. We talk different. We sound different. We walk different. We dress different. We eat different foods. You have Jamaican food. We got soul food. So again, what does she mean? I also see somebody put this little gif here. It says, what R. Kelly said, it seems like you petty. Not it seems like you ready. It seems like you petty. Okay, that was funny. That's right, sister. I don't blame you. You didn't take it as a loss. I don't want a next plate of rotten food. I want my money back. Why would you want to eat? Why would you want another plate? People are questioning her reasoning. I get it. Because sometimes you might like, maybe this food was old. Maybe they can cook me up, especially when you're hungry, right? Like, can you just whip me up something fresh real quick? You know, maybe this was sitting out. Maybe this was for another customer and you decided, hey, why lose the money? Let's just give it to her. I get it, okay? And that's the thing. Sometimes people can be very, very unreasonable, right? Even in the comment section. Can we not be so damn emotional in our response? Right now, I'm finishing up this book, right? It's called The Art of Logic, and how you use mathematical probability to solve scientific equations, but it's also used when it comes to debating, argument, and everything things, because again, we're trying to bring logic to an illogical world. That anytime you bring emotion to logic, the whole system and structure collapses because it just doesn't exist. Okay? So that is what I want to bring relevance to, because again, when I look at these things and I hear certain people talk,
I have something to talk about today. The woman that we call Ice Spanish Jamaican restaurant. You're bitter, you're bitter, you're bitter. You're bitter bad, sir. What am I gonna stay, so? Alright. I understand what you're saying. You say you bought the food and you step outside and whatsoever the food, you use the word rotten. The food rot. That's what you say. I don't know where. You know, Jamaican people, we're ignorant and we're dark. It's worse if we are try see eye to eye with what you're saying. You're not captivate what we are saying and you diss me. Because me can tell you now. We are type of people where we give you grace and make you explain yourself. We try to come.
some people are going to come out and say, this was a lie, this doesn't happen, because she gave no relevance. She didn't give a description or a name of the restaurant or what city or state. Regardless, this is an example, because you may not agree, but I can tell you this, that race does not erase legal status. Shared skin tone does not cancel responsibility. And the idea that Black Americans owe unconditional loyalty to anyone who looks like us, even when they actively disrespect us, is one of the most manipulative expectations placed on this community, our community. And unity does not mean submission. And I can speak for myself, and I can probably speak for about 3 other people, but I'm probably speaking for a large demographic of foundational Black Americans. We are exhausted. We are exhausted because we're expected to forgive endlessly. We are expected to absorb disrespect quietly. We are expected to advocate for everyone else. We're expected to never go too far. We're expected to prioritize feelings over facts. Meanwhile, others arrive quickly and learn how to navigate American systems without carrying the historical burden that we do. They will come over here and say, we came over here in 2 years. Now we are multimillionaires because we got it out the mud. We worked hard. No, you didn't. And as I was reading some of these comments over here, the first person made a lot of sense. She had a right to exchange the food or get a refund. The owner was wrong. The second one doesn't make any sense. My question, if she claims the food was rotten, why would she want another plate? Make them all make any sense now. Okay, I'm butchering it. So don't, take it as I'm trying to make fun of patois or patois. Because there's 3 dialects of the Jamaican language, by the way. There's 3 dialects. You got patois, you got pot-o, and there's another one I don't recall, but whoever knows Jamaicans and who are Jamaican, they probably know what I'm referring to. It also says, as a Jamaican, she's kind of right. Them need better customer service for too. Okay, I'm doing my best here, guys. What you are saying, that kind of customer service is not for the U.S. The Jamaican restaurant, they very disrespectful, and that's why some of their businesses don't stay open for too long. Okay, and I don't know if you guys ever been to a Caribbean restaurant, not just Jamaican. Okay. We're not pinpointing any particular ethnic group. We're using a certain demographic of people to explain people in Asia, to explain people in Latin America, whether it be Central America, South America, or Mexico. And now we're talking about the Caribbean as a whole, okay? We're just using Jamaicans as an example because I don't want people butts to get hurt behind this. Someone stated his name was oneblood.ji. Of course, I never heard of Jamaican food rotten all the days on this earth, shaking my head. Sometimes it's easy to refund the money because the price paid down the line ain't worth it. Okay? God is not sleeping. And behind this, supposedly she got this person, this Jamaican restaurant owner, deported because she said she came back maybe about 3 weeks later and the restaurant was gone. It was vacant. Okay?
Not mention the state. She did not mention the city. She mentioned nothing of privacy. Okay, so I am not sure if anyone of you guys know the name of the Jamaican restaurant that the lady called Ice on, because that's not really my interest. But everybody in my comment section is asking what is the name of the restaurant that the lady called Ice on, the owners. I don't know. All I know is that she called Ice on the owner because
This is why I kind of put the cat out of the bag early on. Let's just take, for instance, she made it up, which, okay, we can be biased about that. But maybe she didn't want to give the name of it or the place so people don't target her. Because you can easily, I mean, look, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's walking around with a supercomputer. You got AI, quantum computing. You can look at the galaxy right here in your phone. So if I give you the name of the restaurant and it's one of a kind, now you know my circumference. Now you know my city. Now you know my county. No, I understand why she didn't give that information.
she wasn't pleased with the food, the quality of the food, and she asked them for a refund, and the owner threw some cup at her, and they had one big abuse out and one big cuss out, and the lady went into Shakir and didn't want the food no more and drive home and decided that this is revenge that she gonna take on a person's livelihood, the food, the business, the family, and she called woman called Ice on a Jamaican restaurant. Nobody knows the name of the restaurant. In her video, she did not mention the name of the restaurant. She did not mention the state. She did not mention the city. She mentioned nothing of privacy. Okay, drive home and decided that this.
You know, it's funny because I had the picture of the lady that they're referring to, and somehow my computer just haphazardly deleted it. I don't know where it went, but you can tell the women that they were displaying as the restaurant owner used cake soap. She used skin bleaching. Now, I saw two pictures of this lady that we're looking at. I saw some clips, and I might even try to find a clip. Either the light on her skin color is very, very bright, or she's using a filter, or she's using cake soap, or she's been bleaching her skin, because in another picture, she wasn't that light. And I'm looking at her chest. I'm looking at, her cheekbones and her hand. Again, this is not about skin bleaching, ladies and gentlemen. I just had to point that out because we know in certain countries, India, Nigeria, Jamaica, and maybe a couple of others, I mean, they are infamous for putting on skin bleaching and cake soap to lighten up their skin so they can be widely accepted. Okay. So again, I don't want to go there. That's a whole nother piece. Okay. That's a whole nother piece. Let me let this play out a little bit.
And working in a restaurant. Guess what happened? Now that was 3 weeks ago. I drove by there today and they are no longer there.
In viral video featuring a Black American woman who claims she bought spoiled and burnt food from a Jamaican restaurant. When she returned to ask for a fresh meal, she and the owner got into a heated argument. In retaliation, she called immigration services on the owner. The woman now claims that the restaurant has been closed and the owner deported.
Okay, so that's the tell of the tape. And a lot of people have been really denigrating our sister if she's a foundational Black American. As one person stated in the comment section, are we assuming? Yeah, to a certain degree. I don't think somebody who's a non-citizen will call ICE on a citizen, but it's possible, right? It's very, very possible. And it made me think, if you are an illegal immigrant inside of this country, if you are a legal immigrant on a, let's say, visa, if you are a so-called permanent resident, but if you are not a naturalized citizen, I will really be keeping my head down. You know how you trying to get out of church real quick because the collection plate is about to come, or is that a certain minister or pastor about to preach and you know you're about to be here in 2 hours, you're like, let me go to the bathroom. I would be really keeping my head down. I really would. I really would. This is not the time to be disrespectful to any citizen, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, or other. It's really not that time. Because it seems as though some people are going to be using ICE as a weapon. I think they are. Because when I look at all these different ethnic groups and, my minority groups inside of America, again, others arrive quickly and they learn how to navigate America. But now that America has a wild card in office, to be the kind as I can be when it comes to the orange man, when you have a wild card in America like President Trump, you don't know what the hell he's going to do. But I can tell you right now, it's all out war on anyone who's illegal, let alone a violent illegal immigrant. Because again, for far too long, foundational Black Americans, we've been going through this. The only thing that hasn't happened is deportation. Because I can look at all these other groups that come over here from all these different countries. They get grace and we get scrutiny. They get benefit of the doubt. We get escalation. And when a Black American finally says enough, suddenly we're the problem. Suddenly we should be kumbaya and join hands. Suddenly we should have the Black Panther Party under this dude, Paul Birdsall, to go out there and beat feet and stump for illegal immigration. Hell no. I got a message that I post on my community post, basically stating that Paul Birdsall does not represent under the affiliation of the new Black Panther Party, that he is basically taking up the name as the original Black Panther Party. Okay. So again, he's not to be affiliated with them, but no less, that video still stands. I still stand behind the words I spoke in that video. Not everyone who is mistreated should call ICE. Is that what we're going with? If you're mistreated, you shouldn't call ICE. Should you use ICE as a weapon? Should you use ICE as leverage? Not every disagreement is justified. Not every accent equals someone being illegal. But when someone, okay, listen, but when someone disrespects you, cheats you, abuses you, threatens you, exploits you, and they are not legally entitled to be here, you're not morally obligated to shield them from consequences, are you not? That doesn't make you cruel, or does it? It means you are done being a damn doormat. See, here's the thing. This is why I popped this up for you guys. This, again, is just an example. A lot of people from all these countries, okay, and I'm just pointing out Lagos, Nigeria for an example, but they have this in Asia, okay? They have this in the Caribbean. They have this in South America. A lot of these immigrants tell you how great their country is, how great their culture is, how great their food is, what they have done, what you should see, how it should be, but they don't want to go back to their country. Bars. They don't want to go back to their country. Hell no. Why would you want to go back to this?
Boats. This is a boat station. Hello. Hello. This is the boat station. Okay. My only wish not to fall this water today. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. They are shifting the things so I can sit down there. Okay. I get in? Please. All right. Here? Okay. In the middle? Okay. Okay. I come with you. One more step. Should I sit this way? Facing you. All right. Oh, thank you so much, brother. So the whole life is on the boat here, no? The businesses. I know. Hey, let him go. Let him go. Imagine fighting on the land, but imagine fighting on the boat. it's more dangerous. So you can see, so basically everything is built on the wood sticks, right? Goes down to how much water is what's the height of the water here?
It's not deep at all.
Not deep.
At all.
Okay.
All this place is not deep.
So this water, if I stand, you like it? Thank you. So if you stand on the water, it's from here maybe?
No, but we're going inside.
No. If I get into this water will be from my knee, from my leg, from the middle. Okay. So it will be like when you stand up, you can actually stand up on the water. So it's not too deep. And is this a lagoon or is this a river? What is this? Is this a lagoon or is this a river? What is it?
No, this is normal.
Hello.
Normal.
Hello.
Water.
Hello. So this is part of the ocean, or is this a lagoon?
This is lagoon.
This is lagoon. Okay. And then one thing you notice that how happy are the people? They are just smiling. They are just waving at you. Like you can understand their hello. You can understand their living conditions, but people are still happy and they push through day by day to make a living, to make money and support their families, which is absolutely fascinating.
Some solas.
It was one part of this video, I guess I missed it. I'm not going to bore you guys with the rest, that he basically was asking the guy, is this a sewer system that people defecate in that water? And this is just an example of what people don't want to go back to in all these different countries, okay? And this being part of the people who don't want to, this is being part of people who don't want to go back to their countries because of places and not having infrastructure. You guys saw the fight between Jake Paul and what's the big British guy's name, but he's from Nigeria. Forgot his name. Someone put that in the chat for me. But he went over there in Nigeria and got into an accident and, got injured really pretty bad. And then everybody crowded the car. They didn't even have medical services to come render aid. Okay. I think he's doing fine now. He survived the car crash, no less, because he's big, strong, muscular guy. That's probably what protected him, no less. But again, a lot of these countries, not just African countries, okay, not just Asian countries outside of Korea, Japan, and China, but a lot of those poor Asian countries, as well as a lot of those poor Central and South American countries, their infrastructure are just not like America. So people come to America and fall in love with America, but they come here based on color, caste, and hierarchy. That's what they do. Again, we are not morally obligated to shield them from the consequences. So the question is, maybe moral, maybe ethical, maybe legal. Should you use ICE as a weapon? Should you use ICE as leverage? Should you report someone who's illegally in the country? Let me ask you this question, because I know some people may be toiling and just really thinking about that question. Hopefully somebody is. Say, for instance, you ain't no snitch. You ain't no tattletale. Like, nah, man, they cool. They ain't messing with me, so everything's good, man. I ain't getting involved with that. Then that same person breaks inside your home. Just saying, as an example, don't beat me up, as an example. So if you knew what you know now, would you have called ICE then? Just ask it. That doesn't make you cruel, right? I'm just asking questions. See, America is a country built on rules for some people. It's built on rules, it's built on leverage, it's built on enforcement. Pretending those things don't exist only when Black Americans might benefit from them is hypocrisy. And this conversation is happening because, in my opinion, Black Americans are no longer willing to carry everyone else's comfort on our backs. We're tired, we're exhausted. We've been fighting the good fight. We've been out there fighting for all these other groups. And we, the people, who like it or not, that shift is already underway. You guys understand the current movement of delineation? They're hating it. And again, I must drive this point home. This isn't about hate. It's about boundaries. And believe me, boundaries are not violence. Okay, that Anthony with Joshua. Thank you. That's the guy's name. Yeah, my good brother. Shalom to you as well. And just so we can leave on good spirits, because I know the last sort of clips we're dealing with Jamaicans. I think we really need to live on high energy. Because I know you guys like that first clip, right? Did y'all like that first clip of our brother? Again, I know a lot of Black Americans, we love Jamaican music, okay? And a lot of people, when you do videos like this, oh man, you just hating the immigrants, man. You just don't like Jamaicans. I love Jamaicans. I just hate the tether Jamaicans, okay? But listen. It don't matter where you are or what you're doing. If you're hearing that right there, you're just going to start bouncing. But I think I had something better for you guys, okay? Because I want to really leave here on a good note for all you guys who've tuned in. Thank you for supporting BlackLogic. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. This is a channel where I really try to give clarity and a different perspective than, other people. And again, you're going to agree. You may agree one time, may disagree, but stay here on BlackLogic where we might get you enraged or we might calm you down a little bit here, okay? But let me leave on a good note here, ladies and gentlemen.
Man can never be better than me. Never say nobody than me. I'ma put you when your baby can see. Girl, and I'm stuck on you. Girl, you chills down my spine. Girl, you're pretty every little time. Damn, that Jamaican song is good.